GM, and welcome back to the coziest part of Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers. It is time for markets, prices, charts, and technical analysis. As you can see, it is me, myself alone today, and it's going to be a short one because we're going to do just a quick market update for today, where we're going to take a quick glance at the prices because right now, yesterday, something very significant happened because we saw a weekly close of Bitcoin not below the 50-week moving average, which was something that I was looking forward to introduce the bear market. But obviously, I don't want to do that. So I'm happy we didn't see that close. I was literally watching that candle until the last second. So we're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna make sense of Solana price as well, to understand where we're at right now and where we could be moving next. So this is going to be TA only. And then if you want to get more Solana news and more drama and FUD and politics and see our friend Eno as well, then you need to tune in for the next episode. That's going to cover all these beautiful things about the latest and greatest on Solana. But for now, let's take a glance at the charts and see what is happening. Before we do that, we actually gonna head over to Flash Trade, and we're gonna place a small trade because we can. We're gonna toggle on the Degen mode. We're gonna activate the. How much should we do today? Today feels like 200x. Let's see how that looks like on the chart. 200x. Do not do that at home. This is definitely pure Degen play. We're gonna head over to the 1 minute chart on Solana because that is always a great idea. And we're going to look at how it looks like right now. Before we do the macro analysis here, I think right now, like trading such a short time horizon right now, I think I'm going to bet on short. It might be stupid because price could turn around at any moment right now. We're going to put in $20 here. Liquidation is up there. Yeah, okay. Let me just wait for 2 seconds here. Price at 168. Okay, I think we're going to try it. We're going to try it, and I'm going to tell you guys as well why. Because looking at the charts right now, let's start with Bitcoin. Let's start with the OG right here. We're looking at the 1 week chart of BTC. We're trading at $106,000 as of today on the 10th of November. And as you can see, guys, over here, we see the weekly candle from last week. Last day was Sunday, and it closed right at this level where we are right now, 106,000, almost 105,000, 104,622. That was the weekly close, while the 50-week simple moving average was hovering around $103,000 for Bitcoin USD. Now, this is significant because if you recall, we're talking about this all the time. The 50-week moving average has provided support already at least twice before, and we never really broke below it, at least not with a weekly candle close. So us not closing below that line right now is a sign that the bulls are not giving up yet and that the bears are not ready to take over yet. Because, again, as soon as we see 2 consecutive weekly closes below that line, I am open to talk about bear market scenarios, and we can talk about how that might look like. I don't think it's going to be a minus 80% drawdown bear market kind of thing, as we saw in previous cycles. Because of the nature of what's happening right now on the charts and the markets, I think it's going to be a bit of a more shallow pullback and for a bit longer period of time with sideways movement. So it's going to be it's going to be painful, but not in the sense of abrupt to the downside, but more in the sense of it's going to get boring after a few weeks of this. This is what the next bear market is going to look like, in my opinion, and it's not here yet. Right now, we're actually bullish again. I turned bullish again. I was never bearish, by the way, because I was believing in this scenario to play out, because there is potential for another high on the Bitcoin and the Solana chart as well. But looking at Bitcoin right now, real quick here for the wave counts on the macro level. if we start counting the big wave starting in 2024, January 2024, we saw wave 1 to the upside, wave 2 to the downside into the 24 lows, then a wave 3 to the upside into the 25th highs beginning of the year in January, a wave 4 to the downside in the $90 Solana region where Bitcoin hit $70 in the middle of this year. Yes, it did. It's not that far along. That far away from us right now. And then from there, we went up again into now the final 5th wave. And I don't think the 5th wave is topped out yet. Could it be? Yes, it could. The top might be in. The top usually occurs in the 4th quarter of the 4th year after the last high, which is the 4-year cycle. Is the 4-year cycle thesis over? We don't know yet. There's no confirmation, nothing. So it could be that either the top was already in October, and that was the Q4 high that everyone is looking for, and now we're just going to go down from here. But for this, we need more indications. We need to see 2 weekly closes below those 50-week moving averages, and a few other signals to trigger. But for now, I'm still believing that there's a chance to complete one more wave to the upside, to basically complete this whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. Now, with this being a 5th wave and not a 3rd wave, it's less impulsive than a 3rd wave. So it is quite natural that this year felt different than this year right now. 5th wave are a bit more sluggish. They can span over a longer time horizon as well. So inside of that 5th wave right now, we are tracking a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we are right now, 5 setup. So right now we're basically in the 5th wave of the 5th wave, and then we could even break this down even more, looking only at Bitcoin. So from the high we saw at $125,000, $126,000, we moved down an ABC, and we right now reached pretty much the low of that C wave. Could be the low already. It also aligns with this 0.618 fib level of Bitcoin's 3rd wave. Between the 2nd wave here and the 3rd wave, this is the fib level. The 0.618 is the most significant fib level psychologically as well, where usually, according to the traders' behavior in open markets, prices can find significant support. And we literally touched that level perfectly, textbook. So this is a valid 1, 2, 3 ABC count to the downside, the 4th wave of this count. And it looks like it could go up from here, honestly. It could go up from here to print this 5th wave to the upside, and that would be a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And it's too early to open that discussion yet. But looking at this chart here in the daily, looking at the weekly chart with our candle closing above that line, and considering some macro news that are happening outside in the world, I think if the government shutdown is really over soon, that could trigger a relief rally. It could be the reason, because technical analysis is pointing right now towards a new high. All we need right now is a real world confirmation. I need that event that will trigger the TA to be true. But usually the price chart already knows what's happening next. Anyway, let's take a look at Solana real quick here as well. We're looking at the daily or the 4-hour chart right now here on Solana. We're trading at $168 today on the 10th of November. And we saw a pullback all the way down until $150, even sub $150, which was quite low for Solana. We broke the Simon support line where we had multiple touch points before. We were trading inside this parallel structure here for a while, but we broke down to the downside, and we right now potentially completed the downside move, but it's not confirmed at all, because what is happening right now is basically I was counting a 1, 2, 3 to the downside, and that 3rd wave, it didn't really, it didn't give us a 4, 5 yet, right? So there is potential that we haven't completed the C wave yet here to the downside. Because right now, what this looks like to me at the chart, it is more like a 4th wave consolidation to the downside. So for me to ring the bullish bells again, I need to see a close of at least an hourly candle above $180, really, because that's the last resistance level for this 4th wave correction here, right? So we're right now in this 4th wave, ABC. The price literally just started to hover around the 0.5 fib level here. I think we could stretch to 0.618 again, but it would make sense to go down from here, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me if we go down from here and complete one more sweep to the downside. But we don't have to. Again, like if something in the world happens this week, and this week is packed with news, I'm going to finish off here. This week we have the CPI data coming in on Thursday, and we have PPI data coming in on Friday. Both are very significant inflation data for the consumer price index and the product price index. And that is something everyone is looking at, because if the inflation numbers are either above, or let's say either below expectations, which would be less than 0.3 for the core CPI, if they're either less or on the same level as the forecast, that would be okay for the markets. That would be maybe not bullish, but would be okay. If they are significantly less than the forecast, it would be actually very good, because we don't want inflation to go crazy right now, because that interferes with the fiscal policy plans of the Federal Reserve to cut further rates. And further rate cuts are, for now at least, in the short term, fairly bullish for the market. So we need to keep these kind of data points also inside this week, together with the fact that the government might stop fucking around and stop closing down. And that would also give a relief rally. So that's the state of the current market when it comes to Bitcoin and Solana. My trade on the short-term chart here, my 200x on Solana short, it could break down. I think I'm going to risk it. I think I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to set a stop loss somewhere around here, these levels, before I get liquidated. Let me put the stop loss at 168.65. So we're going to take the SL, we're going to put it up here, 168. Let's put it up there. Oh, we could actually be on our way to be stopped out right now. It is what it is. We tried it. Don't trade with high leverage. But if you want to, you can do it on Flash Trade, because you can go up to 500x. Guys, this has been a real quick breakdown of the markets to see where we're at. A quick check-in of the prices as well. See it as an emergency TA. And we're going to cut it here. We're going to close down the TA section for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to this part of Soul Brothers. If you want to see more of us, make sure to follow our YouTube account, subscribe, and like this video as well if you feel like it is a good analysis of the markets. Because so far, let's say, we haven't been tremendously wrong. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the next one. Awesome. Thanks, Chad. I got to go. This was just a real TA section. Tomorrow is going to be the big live stream together with Eno, where we go into Solana news, FUD, markets, and all that kind of stuff. In future, we're going to break down the podcast into 3 parts, which is going to be Solana news, macro news, and TA. And TA will be sometimes just myself alone with you guys. And that's how we're going to do it from now moving on. So now I got to hop into a call. So thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. And please catch us tomorrow when we're live streaming again for the rest of the show. Thank you, guys.